Hello. If anyone's watching just yet. So, greetings and welcome to the very first podcast on Two Guys, Two Mics. I'm Liam.
And I'm Ben.
And as you just saw, Ben was lost to the forest. So you may be asking yourselves... Go on, Ben, what were you saying?
I've got a cold, so I might not be like responding as per usual. Very nasally.
Oh, fuck, I'm coming out of the objective. So, before we get into today's topics, because we have a little list, right, how this podcast is going to work, is we've got a small list of topics we're going to run through. That doesn't mean it's scripted. Basically what's going to happen is we're going to freeform the debates. We're just going to talk about them, have a general discussion. If it turns into a debate, it turns into a debate, or we'll just have a general conversation about it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fuzzy Milky Way had to die.
Hey, where are you? I'm one of them. Brother, where are you?
Being attacked by a swarm. What we're doing is, because obviously at the minute we've not got a channel banner and we don't have channel art or anything of the sort, we're going to be running just gameplay, as you can see in the background, for the first few episodes until we sort of get something sorted, until we figure out how we're actually going to edit these. So consider this episode a bit more of a pilot than an actual episode. I'm dead. Survived that long, I wasn't even playing.
Tragically lost in the forest.
Unfortunately.
You get beaten to death by fucking midgets.
Sweet, we've just got a new subscriber. Right, so as you can see, unfortunately, because obviously we don't know how we're doing this, we also, when we do this, we're happy to take what you think. So that's why, as you can see here, elapsed time, and you can see if you message on YouTube Live, I get to see it. So feel free to argue with us when it comes to the debates, and feel free to maybe agree with me. Not Ben. We don't agree with Ben. We don't agree with Ben.
Yeah. Liam's also a communist.
I've been found out. Right, unfortunately, that is not today's topic. Today's first topic, and probably what we're going to be talking about for a majority of this, it could be the only topic. Hello, Jamie, or The Illusionist. Welcome to the podcast. Today's first topic is going to be the current state of video games. Now, Ben, do you want to start, or should I start talking about...
You start.
Right. The current state of video games. We were having a slight discussion like this yesterday, which is why we thought we'd use this one as the very opening topic of this series. Now, the current state of video games for me isn't where it's at. If anything, for me, it's taken a devolution. And a good example me and Ben were discussing is, if we jump back, the last good... We were talking about Battlefield, because Ben was like, oh, I'll get Battlefield, and I was like, oh, I'm not a big fan of this new Battlefield, I don't like it. When I played the beta, it was too buggy, too slow, it felt clunky, the controls were tanky, and I was just going through... Who's starting Ewok?
I'm starting as an Ewok.
Oh, you starting as an Ewok?
Yeah.
You actually...
Sorry, continue.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh no, I'm not starting as an Ewok. That's bullshit. Sorry.
Yeah, so... Oh, am I just a normal Stormtrooper? I am. Right, sorry, I'm going to ignore the game now. Need to get into podcast mode. So we were talking about Battlefield even. And when we were talking about Battlefield, Ben was like, oh, why don't you like the new one? And I turned around and said, personally, I don't feel that the Battlefield franchise has been good. And I was going to say since Bad Company. But I felt like if I slated... Well, since Bad Company 2, because that was the last one I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought, no, I'll be generous and I'll say Battlefield 3 was the last good one. And Ben made a point. He was there like, well, maybe being a bit too harsh there. I feel like Battlefield 4 was good due to it was the very first game with Evolution. Now you see, I could see where Ben was coming from with this point. I could, and I did sort of agree with the point. It was a step forward, but since then, they've all gone downhill. I mean, they've all
yeah.
just been
May
copy
I,
paste. Absolutely, please
yeah,
interject.
yeah. I mean, in my opinion, anything from full like Battlefield 1, where at the start, when you start playing the game, you'll think it's very, very exciting, but then it starts to get to, oh, this weapon, there's nothing different about it. It's with a weapon. The rifles are all the same, aside from Martini Henry, which is one shot. I played Battlefield 1 extensively, even through beta. And to be honest, Battlefield 5 does seem very, very samey to Battlefield 1. I mean, I pre-ordered Battlefield 5, you know, because I believe it was going to be a good game. Before I saw the trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, new Battlefield. But in my opinion, one of the best Battlefields that's come out in recent history is 3.
Yeah.
Due to the fact, in the campaign, it made you feel like you were there. Like when you're listening to Johnny Cash in the LAV, you know? You had conflict, you had... Well, the whole game was fucking conflict, you know? But, it was very, very well done, you know? And it was emotional when you saw... I mean, it wasn't emotional to the point where you would cry, but it would make you think, you know, like when you're in the tank and you get taken hostage, and you had the kids, and you got executed, you know, it was, you know...
Yeah. Sorry.
moment,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Now back on.
But with...
You're gone.
Sorry, continue.
No, you're gone.
No.
You were the one talking.
No, you go.
Sort of back onto the topic. What me and Ben aren't doing is we're not just slating one franchise, we're not just slating Battlefield. I mean, up until the new Black Ops 4, COD had this exact trend, and they thought bringing out Call of Duty World War II would fix this. But within, what, a couple of months, they were straight back to their old ways of here's some loot crates, here's some microtransaction-y bollocks, and I feel like a lot of video games these days does consist of microtransactions, and to get good at the game you've got to be willing to spend X amount of money on said game.
Yeah, definitely.
A good example of this, well, it's not to get good at the game, but a good example of microtransactions that work in brackets is Fortnite. And now, I don't play Fortnite, me and Ben don't, but I've watched enough people play Fortnite, and I know enough people that play Fortnite. The reason I agree with Fortnite's type of microtransactions is it is purely optional. You only get cosmetics. It's not like you're getting a new gun or a new like, you know, expansion pack or something. It's not as if you're getting something that no one already has. You're just going to get a couple of skins and a couple of emotes, and that's it. But you see, this became a massive craze somehow to the Fortnite community. I feel like a poor example would be, let's go back to the Call of Duty franchise. I played Advanced Warfare extensively. That was my favourite my favourite Call of Duty was Advanced Warfare. And the reason I loved this so much is I loved the exosuits, and I loved the movement, and I loved how free-flowing it was, and how no one was really expecting this at the time. No one was expecting these exosuits to take control as much as they did. Now, the loot crates in there, the loot boxes, they did give you things that you could not get otherwise. You'd get the M1 Garand, you'd be getting the M16, you'd be getting weapons that no one else could own, and that were ridiculously overpowered compared to others. What's your opinion on games that are released too early, like undeveloped games, not enough content?
Yeah.
False advertisement, like Destiny 1. That's coming from Jay. So I'll let Ben answer that one, and then if he's not touched on anything, I'll answer. Come on, Ben. So,
I mean, if you're gonna... So, releasing games when they're not finished, yeah?
what's your opinion on games that are released too early? Brackets, like undeveloped games, and then he's put not enough content, false advertisement, so false advertising as well, like Destiny 1, he does make a good example. So, go on, Ben, what do you feel?
I have got a bit of a gripe with Destiny 2 in terms of advertising, not necessarily false advertising, but advertising. Basically, the main point of Forsaken from the adverts that I saw was Cade dying. Now that's spoiling something completely, you know. You kind of fucked it up on that one. But when it comes to releasing our unfinished games, I mean, we can talk about Ark Survival Evolved. That is a piece of shit, and the graphics are horrible. I pre-ordered it, and I regret it.
I'm wincing because you're about to get roasted to fuck by Jay now. Jay loves that game. He did love that game, sorry. But go on, about underdeveloped, I have not played Ark Survival, so this is more a YouTube thing.
It doesn't feel full, like, you could have way more options in Ark Survival, it just doesn't feel like a finished game.
Right, and why would you say that is? What is there? Is there not enough content? Is there not enough things to do? I mean, it's an open world game, so
it's not really, okay, like, the way that it is, you know, you start off on the island, you know, you get some good shit, you build a little fucking hut, you know. But you need to have a lot of knowledge to progress further. You know, it's very, I mean, it's made for PC, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, so, it does look like a PC port, that I did notice. Maybe a bit underdeveloped for console, but I reckon for PC it was perfectly developed. Or maybe perfectly developed, I don't know.
It's a shame because it could have been a really good game. You know? I mean, one of the... And it's got very poor... You know, it's the graphics that really piss me off the most. You know? I mean, if you're going to create a game like that, a game that could be visually stunning in a certain sense, and then you just leave it, it looks like something from 2000. 2005?
Well, I'd say 2005 was, what was that? It was like your Battlefront 1 or your Battlefront 2 era.
Yeah.
In Forsaken, they pre-warned us about one of the Vanguard dying, slow hint in the lore, but only people who look into it would have known. Jay does love his lore, to be fair, so he's got a point there. But there was hints. I only actually looked for the hints after I'd get in Destiny 2. Unfortunately, I wasn't a big fan of Destiny 1, and I'll touch upon that. I felt like the game sold itself for more than it was. You know, sort of a Watch Dogs era, and I'll touch upon Watch Dogs because that's a good point you've made about underdeveloped games being released too early just to cash grab. Now, Destiny 1, it was Iron Banner that caused the most controversy. I was at, where was I? I was at EGX, and Iron Banner was just being released, and you had everyone there. And Jesus, did they create some bloody hysteria when it finally released. It was buggy. Wasn't actually as much content as promised. I think they promised 15 hours of campaign, and I believe they said it basically doesn't end after that. You can replay loads and loads of missions, etc.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people just didn't get what they wanted. Now, if you look into Destiny 1, they showed us trailers that weren't even a part of the game. A game before the release of weren't even a part of the game. A game before they released Destiny. Yeah, that's what it was, wasn't it? They were working on a different title, a completely different game.
It was Anthem.
Were they working on Anthem originally? Yeah. Actually, I do remember. Yeah, because Anthem's been in development for like
5 years. No, not 5. Yeah, 5
or 6 years. So yeah, they were releasing really early alpha footage of Anthem and claiming it was Destiny to make Destiny look better, and then obviously that's what caused a bit of controversy. From that's even before Destiny released. I think they released that at E3. That footage. For me, Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs is the biggest shit show for that. You're showing... Now, I know people are saying graphics degrades are a massive issue. Okay, yeah, I do agree. If you put a disclaimer saying not in-game footage, then you can get away with boosting your graphics up to fuck, like they did. But when they said this is actually from in the game... And then that was like a month before release, and then in that month, all you spend your time doing is degrading graphics to make it run smoother. I mean, it didn't even run at 60 FPS on a console that could easily handle 60. It ran at 30.
Oh, I'm Ewoks.
You are. It didn't even run at 60. It ran at 30, and they were saying, 60 FPS. And I mean, obviously, the original PlayStation, the PS4, as it is, it can only run at 59 frames per second because they frame locked it. It can't run any higher, but it can't run any lower. Whereas the new PlayStation, the PS Pro, can obviously run at 60 plus, depending on what games you are. So like little bitty games can sometimes actually reach 70, 80 frames per second. And that's quite good for a console, very powerful. And obviously the Xbox One X as well. I think the biggest issue people took with Watch Dogs was the graphics, but also how broken the game was after launch. Bungie created Destiny from Halo Odyssey. Oh, ODST. They showed it in the campaign on a poster saying Destiny is coming. They changed the story. They changed the story, didn't really like it. Didn't like it really. Oh yeah, because it is Bungie, isn't it? Same people that made Reach. If you know about the Halo franchise, Ben, I don't know if...
I played the Halo franchise.
Which ones have you played? Because obviously Bungie have created some...
I can't remember. It was on the original Xbox.
Oh, that's only Halo 1 and 2 then, because they're the ones I've played. Because I used to own an original Xbox. Other games that have been underdeveloped... Oh, what are the biggest shit shows I can think of? The Crew 2, to me, was underdeveloped and buggy.
Oh, it's a pile of shit.
I enjoy the game. I'm not saying it's a pile of shit. What I'm saying is, when they released it, they were saying, we've got 300 plus cars in the game now to play. There wasn't 300 plus cars. Graphics degrade to fuck. And I was like, right, okay, I can look past this.
Yeah.
But when you've got a driving game, and the driving mechanics are still being tweaked in, like, bi-daily updates, it's not looking good for your game. Now, I did enjoy the Crew 2 while it lasted, but unfortunately there was nothing there. Assassin's Creed Unity is another one that fell trap for that. It's very common with Ubisoft games. As patronising as it sounds, Unity was the turning point, I feel, for the Assassin's Creed franchise. When you've made games like Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, then you make 3. Everyone goes, ooh, bit of a step back, and then you make 4, and everyone's like, whoa, fuck, what's going on? Then you make, Rogue, where you place the Templar, the Irish assassin, and then that one was okay. It went under the radar at first because Black Flag released like just before it. I never heard of Rogue until I saw it in a CEX. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? It's an entire game, and it was. But that's an okay game. It's not the best Assassin's Creed game. Obviously, you're playing it from the Templars' point of view, but it does expand the lore. And I do love the Assassin's Creed franchise. And then Unity. Obviously, I'm not going in chronological order. I'm just listing like best and worst games that I can think of in this franchise. And then Unity, a buggy, glitchy mess that for the first month it was released was almost unplayable, uncompletable. There were certain areas that a majority of people who owned the game would get stuck at, couldn't progress from. And when you get a progress lock in a game, you're really excited to play. Because I remember that game, when that game came out, it was like 80 quid. And that was just a standard edition. I think all the pre-orders like 100 plus quid. I think Ubisoft did get humbled when that game came out because the fans had enough. Ah, you little cunt, fuck off. Because they'd, because they'd been humbled. You know, they think that they could pump them out every year. Now Odyssey is apparently a step in the really right direction. I mean, Jay, you can tell me about that because obviously you've played Odyssey, and I feel like they've brought that out at the right time. But I feel like sometimes some games don't become underdeveloped. I know you've asked for my opinion on it, but honestly, sometimes I feel like people lie to make a game seem worse than it is. Because when Spider-Man on PS4, obviously that's an exclusive, people on other consoles or other gaming systems were a bit jealous. I can see why. Like, I'd be quite annoyed if they brought Spider-Man out and it was only on Xbox. I would have been very annoyed, so I'm quite glad that I'm on PlayStation. They kept saying that there was a graphics underhaul, like Watch Dogs, and they were comparing it to Watch Dogs, but actually, what happened was it was a different time of day. I'm gonna die. Yep, died to the swarm. It was a different time of day. A different area. It hadn't been raining. Because obviously in Spider-Man, you can actually set the time. You can set the weather. So, you know, if you've not set it to rain for a while, there are no puddles. What I actually found, and what a lot of people have debunked if you search it on YouTube, the game had actually been given a graphics overhaul. They made the graphics better in a small amount of time. So sometimes people do lie to try and make a game seem bad, especially if it's a game that maybe they're not interested in. Because I also feel like there have been games that have suffered this fate and died because of it. And if we're talking about underdeveloped games, sorry guys, just had to jump out there. If we're talking about underdeveloped games, then broadcasting gameplay and microphone, or broadcasting gameplay because you exited the block scene. Oh, I hope my mic's still working. I'll just repeat that bit. If we're talking about broken games and games that were underdeveloped upon release, there is one that we have to talk about and one that we cannot not talk about, and that is Rainbow Six Siege. When this game came out in 2015, it was buggy, glitchy, almost unplayable. The glitches were that bad. The graphics were nowhere near what they were, what gamers were promised.
Well, I've actually got first-hand experience.
Well, exactly. So I'm trying to lead into you talking as you're sort of sitting there quietly.
I mean,
try and get some. Go on.
The glitches fucking messed it up really, really badly from my experience. And I played the beta as well. And that was literally the single worst experience of my life. But the game itself, when it came out, the game was buggy, and it was at some points unplayable going up against people with very, very high pings and sorted out servers in any way. But there is one thing that kept me going with Siege, is the community. Now it's toxic, but when I was a little squeaky cunt, and I started playing the game, people didn't take the piss out of me. They were like, oh, okay, I'll show you how to do this. I'll show you how to play. And all that. And it was, when you take into account the community, a good game. But without the community, if they weren't as good as they were, then it was a shit game without the community being there, and also the support from the devs, the updates, it wouldn't have progressed without the community, dedicated fans.
You see, what I struggle with Siege now. Now, I didn't join at the very start. My first-hand experience with Siege was White Noise. I joined at the start of White Noise, which is 4 or 5 seasons ago now. And I struggle with this game. Just playing it sometimes, it's so buggy and glitchy and broken now. Every time they update something, they break something else. And I really think that's what's driving people away. The fact that you can't have an update without hitboxes breaking, headshots not registering, fucking a new glitch coming out, a new exploit. I mean, the invisible glitch is back.
I don't understand how the fuck they managed to do it.
Alright, Ben. This one is coming straight at you. Alright, Ben. What is your opinion on the changes to the game they've made? The amount of money that they've put into it?
What the fuck was that? Oh, it's hit my chat. Can you repeat that, please?
Absolutely. So the question is, Ben, what was your opinion on the changes they've made to the game? Also the amount of money they've put into it?
I would say the amount of money that they put into it is mainly in the esports side and promoting it, etc. But with the updates that have come through and the way that the game's changed, I personally like the older Siege. I mean, it may have been buggy, but there weren't that many glitches that were game breaking. I.e. the invisible glitch, from my knowledge at least, when I played. But when it comes down to it, in terms of the amount of money they spent a lot on, esports, especially, I don't. One thing that I don't get is how the fuck haven't they got ranked, out of beta? I don't understand how you can put that much money. It's still in beta, but with the updates, like Liam has said, they'll break something. Like, I wouldn't say that I am the best at the game, but I'm passable.
Yeah.
And the problem is for me is the lag that you'll get. If you have someone on your team with 300 consistent ping, your team will start lagging. You know, or 100 ping. It doesn't matter. And like, I'm gonna refer back to Liam again. They break something whenever they do an update. You know, I'm like with the new operators, Clash is fucking irrelevant, right? We just got to make this clear. She is a horrible operator. She's not a challenge. Once you've learned how to counter her, she is not a challenge.
I disagree
Right?
with that statement.
Okay, okay.
I really disagree with that. Clash isn't irrelevant, right? Okay, I mean, we will jump onto some Siege later, and maybe we'll go onto the other channel and we'll stream some gameplay, or maybe we'll start the first episode of 2 guys 1 game. I feel like Clash depends on who is playing Clash. I wouldn't say she's irrelevant. I'd say Clash is a very good operator. I enjoy her. Yeah, you can't punch with the shield, and you've just run past me, and that can be...
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to get up to you.
Right, a shield you can't attack with, you can't hit with. You can stun people and you can slow people, very good. I enjoy that fact. The thing I don't like about it is you can't shoot with the shield up. Now, I understand this is a riot shield, she's supposed to be, like, riot trained and stuff like this.
There is...
Her guns, though, on the other hand... That's where I have to disagree with your statement. Yeah, maybe her primary ability, the shield, is underwhelming, but they've scrapped every single nerf they were going to give her. She was going to get nerfed into fuck, like almost unplayable. I would never have touched Clash again.
The reason why I'm so critical of Clash is the fact that it requires teamwork to be able to utilize her effectively. Like, you need good team. Like when me and Liam, if Liam goes Clash because he's a good Clash, you know, and I'm quite good as I know a doc, you know, it requires teamwork so that way, you know. But with Siege there is no forced in game chat, which I believe they should have, because otherwise they're like, it's very hard to get a competent team in Siege, and whenever you try to tell someone to do something, they'll like I don't know, drop the diffuser. I've been TK'd for knifing people. I mean, I do TK people for knifing at me to acquire the diffuser, but in ranks it's happened to me. Liam can't get back up. We had a whole saga of this a couple of days ago of Liam being stuck down there. But she does require teamwork, and that's something that Siege just doesn't have anymore. Like when the game came out, I'll say again, the community was wonderful. Everyone used to talk to each other. You know, you wouldn't see that many people partied up. You know, you'd always get 1 or 2 people in game chat, maybe 3, 4, and then other people join. You know, because you see everyone else talking, or you know. And in my opinion, they need to bring that back of team cooperation, because it's been lost.
Yeah, but you see, some people just don't have mics, some people can't afford mics and stuff like that. For those people who don't have mics, you can't say, oh, we've got forced game chat. Well, what are they going to do?
I don't know, fucking use smoke signals. But...
And some people with a game with forced game chat, that's when you can start getting your cyberbullying and stuff like that.
Yeah, I understand that. But... they've already tried oh, that's a fucking rule. They've already kind of dealt with toxicity on PC, but the one thing, you know, with all the development time, like it needs communication. Like we do need a side chat, you know.
Yeah, but like, on the controller it takes so long to type. But that's what I was supposed to start the stream at. Well, we've been on for half an hour. I was aiming for between 7:30 and 8:30 of when I wanted to start the stream. But the amount of times I had to re-put in my email and my password to get this account connected to my account just made everything a bit difficult.
Yeah, I understand. but it would still be useful for team communication, especially the amount of money and the amount of development time. Referring back to who was it that asked that?
That's the illusionist Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, Jay. So Jay asked that. So that's going back to that point of the fact they have so much money that we wouldn't mind having a side chat.
Well, you see, personally, I'm going to answer Jay's question as well because I feel like it's one that I can talk about, obviously only from my experiences of playing. So I'm opinions of the changes to the game event. I feel like some of the changes to the game. Nah, fuck that, Ben. You're gone. I've just watched you get snapped in half in front of my eyes. That's grim. I feel like the changes to the changes to the game they've made are for the better. Yeah. I mean, there are some changes obviously I disagree with. I mean, taking away Doc's deployable shield and stuff like that. Those are things I don't agree with. But obviously, they need to try and balance the game somehow. Because some operators will get taken more often than others for a very pathetic reason. If you've got a shield, if you've got impact nades, if you've got a grenade, if you've got a shotgun, it just depends. Like if you've got an ACOG on defense, you're so much more likely to get picked than someone, say for example, who doesn't have ACOG. Well, from someone on the outside looking in. And the amount of money they've put into it, I'm surprised that Ubisoft actually put this much money into it. But recently they have had a trend of doing that. Putting loads of money into games that otherwise would have failed. Had they thrown this game out there, had they thrown Siege out there in 2015, gone, here's your game, and left it there, the game would have died within 7-8 months. We wouldn't have the shooter we've got today.
Yeah, might I just say
please.
something? The one thing that I struggle with Siege in general is how sick you can get of the game. Like, I would take breaks of the game before I met Liam of months at a time. You know, months and weeks. And Liam's had the same problem as when you take a break, you become shit. Well, not shit, but, you know, it seems more difficult. Would we say that's true, Liam?
Tom Clancy's The Division. Ubisoft helped create that game, as well as Tom Clancy, one of the world's best developers in gaming franchise.
Oh, by the way, fuck you, play as well. Fuck you, you play.
Right, so he's talking about The Division, okay? He's talking about Tom Clancy's The Division. Ubisoft helped create that game as well, right? Tom Clancy's The Division. Ubisoft helped create that game as well as Tom Clancy, one of the world's best developers in the gaming franchise. Now, yeah, the Tom Clancy games are amazing. This spans back, well, whichever fucking word. I'm not the smartest. This jumps all the way back to I'm gonna say 2006, 2007 when I was playing my first Tom Clancy game, Tom Clancy Future Soldier or Ghost Warrior, Ghost Recon. Is it Ghost Recon, Ghost Warrior?
I love the Ghost Recon series, as well as
I believe
which one was it? Vegas.
And
Tom Clancy's Vegas. Yeah.
Also loved, adored, Future Soldier on the PlayStation 3. Tom Clancy's Future Soldier, where it's you and four other, you and a squad basically, and you're going through doing all these missions in these different scenarios, and you've got the War Dog and stuff like that. That was amazing. That was such a good game. Here we go. Pure Gamer. Love this guy. The Division came out. Subscribe to him if you're listening. The Division came out, but they were able to do some things and make it and make people replay it and enjoy it. But I can't see the same for Ghost Recon's Wildlands. Oh, that's something that you made this. You're gonna die.
Sorry. Yeah.
How the fuck are you alive? This is one more for you because I've not played Wildlands, but I believe you can talk a little bit on this one, Ben. This is one for you. The Division came out, but they were able to do some things and make people replay it and enjoy it. Yeah. But I can't say the same on Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Wildlands.
That's what he's saying.
It as a lot of games. It depends in the way that you look at it. Like if you're playing by yourself, shit game. If you're playing with people, like the way that I see a lot of open world games with multiplayer elements is unlimited boredom. basically, and I believe that was a quote from what the Crew 2, Unlimited Boredom or Limitless Boredom. And basically, you can do so much in Wildlands, you know, but there are a lot of bugs that limit what you can do, and a lot of things that the game doesn't let you do. Like, you can't hide in the boot of a car and bring out your machine gun. Only on certain cars you can do that. Or like, you can't customize a vehicle. It's all preset. You know, it's very, very baseline,
Junkie.
shit, in my opinion. Yeah, chunky, basically.
I said
And
junkie.
then
I'm
you
a
have
baseline
narco.
junkie. No? No, okay. Ah, fuck.
Brother, no. Brother. But yeah, I mean, it depends your experience with it. I had quite a positive experience, and then it started to get boring very quickly. Once you've completed the game, like I've completed it twice now. It just kind of gets a bit samey. Oh yeah, fun. Like try and like, and you can't stick C4 to vehicles, and you can't ram them into roadblocks. You know, and shit that you would expect from a game like that. You know, you can't use guerrilla warfare tactics. You can't set up claymores. You can set up mines, but they're not satisfying as claymores. You know, and it could have been a great game, like an absolute marvelous game. They have Narco Road, the other DLC, Ghost War, which I haven't played, so I have no knowledge of that. If, you know about that, go ahead. And then there's a paywall, like with the multiplayer element of it, you know, PvP. In my opinion, it's shit. They tried to make it seem like Siege. A bit too much, well not like Siege, it felt like an off-branded version of Siege with the HUD, etc. Which I didn't like. I just, some of the elements of the multiplayer just don't fit, and like the cosmetic items, they don't do anything, like Fortnite, but they just look cool, and sometimes you want to have a specific outfit, which you can't do, and you have to pay money in through randomized loot crates. As with getting icons like Doc or Ash or Pulse, you know, there's a paywall for that. As well as weapons, you can spend money to get weapons as well, which are most of the time very good. But that's just my thought on it. Is it's a little bit of a scam, not a complete scam, but it's a bit bullshit in some circumstances.
Well, just a very quick apology to both of you. Unfortunately, for some reason, on the side chat there, the full comment wasn't coming through. So, many apologies to you. What Jay actually said was Tom Clancy The Division ? Ubisoft helped create that game, as well as Tom Clancy, one of the world's best game developers in the gaming franchise, but they struggle to keep the game positive and alive. Now, that actually completely changes the question and the answer. I agree. Obviously, I'd never played it, but from what I saw, I could go with what Sean said at the very end of that game's lifespan, as you would say. When you come into like the year and a half mark, it started to pick up a bit. People started to play it again. People found it fun again because they'd fixed everything that was broken with the game. But obviously, unfortunately, it was too far too gone. Now, as Sean said, as Pure Gamer said, the missions were the same over and over on Wildlands, but when I had friends that were willing to take it serious and actually be a team, it was good. But on your own, it was awful. He can agree with what you said. And again, Pure Gamer also said, yes, I thought it was overhyped and could have been a lot better, and I played bits of PvP but couldn't get into it on Wildlands. I didn't.
It didn't feel natural. It felt too clunky. You know, you had to unlock specific classes by, you know, leveling up, which took a long time in my experience. I just didn't have the patience for it. There are a lot of people that are extremely good at it that you'll be put against. That there's not really level or skill-based matchmaking from what I've seen. It's literally just, you know, boom, you put up against that person.
Now, just to finish off this little segment on the Tom Clancy and sort of broken games conversation of current state of gaming, Jay said sometimes the best things are the broken ones.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, onto a different topic. We've been asked, what's our opinion on the game we're currently playing, Battlefront 2?
2. Ooh.
I love this
Liam
game.
loves this game.
I absolutely
I love
adore
it.
this game. I could play this game for hours and hours on end. Now, Ben doesn't like it all the time. He sometimes hates the game. He sometimes will never play the game. Like, we've gone 3-4 months without playing the game, but I'll happily come back and play it hour upon hour. I just love it. I find it so fun, so addictive.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I don't necessarily like it is because, like, when you're playing it, you need to be in kind of, like, I need to be in a very, very energetic and positive mood, because sometimes it can wear me down. You know. And I understand with Liam, he loves the game, so I can't change his mind on anything when it comes to this game. I won't attempt to.
Well, no, it is broken. I can admit on that.
I'm not calling it broken. No, in my opinion, it's actually a good, well-rounded game in most aspects.
It wasn't. Jesus, fuck. When this game first came out, it was
apart from the
probably...
2 Luke glitch. What about the 2
Oh,
Luke glitch?
right, yeah, that one. I'm not happy with that.
Yeah.
We're stumbling across this glitch at the minute, and I have spoken to the illusionist about it. There's this glitch where 2 people on the hero team can both be Luke, and it turns around from fun to, oh god,
Yeah.
it can completely ruin a fun game. Now, we don't know how it happens, we don't know why it happens, but it happens. For me, I normally don't like playing Ewok Hunt. It's a fun game mode, yeah, but I prefer... I like Galactic Assault, but Ben despises Galactic Assault. Ben gets very intimidated by Galactic Assault. There's way too much. You've said before you get intimidated, you say there's too much going on for you.
Yeah.
You can't focus, you can't follow what's actually happening. So, I can understand. So, we play Blast or Heroes vs Villains. Now, I love Heroes vs Villains. I can play that for hours.
Oh fuck yeah, same here. Like when I'm in the mood for it, like I've got a mood for like Blast, multiplayer with like ground forces. But Heroes vs Villains, I can usually play it if I feel like playing, you know, a game is take the piss. You know.
Hey Ben, leave that game.
Why?
Just play something a bit brighter. There. Apparently it's a bit hard to see.
Oh, okay, do you want to play Siege then? Or
You're still banned? You'll be banned until half midnight, Ben.
Destiny 2? We can do the special event.
That would end the stream.
What are we gonna do? Oh, I just closed the app, for fuck's sake. Right, fuck it. Going back in. Oh,
Yeah.
Heroes vs Villains then, yeah?
Oh yeah, we'll play a bit of Heroes vs Villains.
Fucking yes. But yeah, I mean that's my thoughts on Galactic Assault. It's not really one of my go-to modes. Anything else?
If that's the last we've got on gaming for now.
Yeah.
Because it seems like it is. Unless you guys have any more questions. Feel free to fire away. If not, we'll move on to a separate topic. Feel free to just fire a topic in to make us talk about. Anything you're interested in, whether it's politics, whether it's video games, films, music, celebrities.
Who's the best waifu?
Yeah, we're all about that life.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
We don't need real bitches, about them anime bitches.
Don't ask how I almost fell over. Just don't ask. Yeah. Anyone got anything to say? Just
Oh
gonna
my
make
God.
sure the audio is coming through.
Well, that's I've got a news headline here. 20 men in grooming gang are jailed for inhuman abuse of victims as young as 11.
Is that the guys that were for grooming 15 girls? Huddersfield, I think
Believe
it
so.
was.
Huddersfield, yeah, it's Huddersfield.
Yeah, I read that headline in college today. We were watching this documentary on, was it Challenger 2, the rocket that went up and blew up?
Mhm.
I believe so. Not 100% sure. It was very boring and I didn't care for it. Right. New topic. Yes, it was the Challenger 2. Thank you very much. What's a go on? We've got the current state of Brexit. Politics, i.e. general. Actually, maybe a bit of a controversial topic, but as I've said, no topic too big, no topic too controversial. Was Columbine, however you want to pronounce it, the start of mass shootings in the US?
I have actually got a thing for this. With Tumblr, and a lot of networking sites, like you have like these communities, you know, like criminal communities.
He's just
Um,
trying to repress his homosexuality.
what?
Nothing, you mentioned Tumblr, continue.
Tumblr. I use it for hentai and hentai only. But yeah, basically, Tumblr, there are specific groups, and they do criminal psychology on there. Well, they're
Fucking
studying it, and a lot of the people that do it actually manage to fall in love with these mass murderers and worship them.
yes.
You know, an
Ah,
idolization of
what's
mass
that
murder
called? That's not
shootings.
Stockholm, that's something else.
Stockholm syndrome. Yeah,
No,
no,
Stockholm's where you
I know
fall
what
in
you're
love
talking
with
about.
your kidnapper
Yeah, with a
or
yeah,
abuser.
yeah. What is it? I understand. Yeah,
I know what I'm on
um,
about, and I'm pretty sure people on here will know
but
what I'm
yeah,
on about. It's where
basically
you
the
fall in love with a killer.
idolization. Yeah, basically idolization of a mass murderer, such as, you know, I've been on Tumblr and I've seen girls being like, oh yeah, I could have changed him. You know, they think that these people are broken individuals, they can have fixed them. No, they're fucking psychopaths and they kill people. Simple
Yeah.
as that. You know, innocent people. And I completely despise people in a certain sense that would want, that romanticize about, you know,
Well,
befriending a
there was
killer.
someone that wanted to marry Jeffrey Dahmer, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Believing she could fix
yeah,
him.
yeah. That isn't gonna happen. That'll never happen. You can't, you know. Like Mike Myers, he's a fictional character, but he's fucked, and that is a good example, you know, of just you can't fix someone. They're gone. They're not there.
So, you said this relates in some way to the question I posed.
Yeah, like you'll have copycat killers, you know, when it comes to murder, but you'll also have copycat shooters. Like I can't remember which shooter idolized one of them or followed one of them, but I think this kid tried to shoot up his school and he got stopped, and he idolized the Columbine shootings. You know, and a lot of people say, you know, thanks to memes, you know, like school shooting memes, that can bring people into idolizing killers. You know, but they're more or less taking the piss out of them. But it is a dangerous area
Are
in
you going to
terms of.
join, for fuck's sake?
Oh, sorry, I. Oh, oh no, I don't want to watch your broadcast. Ugh.
Ah, cheers.
Can you invite me? Oh,
No,
I have
you're
to invite you.
offline, you
Sorry, I
spag.
apologise. I apologise. But yeah, that's my belief about it. So.
Well, I'm really confused as to what that had to do with anything I said.
It did. Thank you.
I didn't see it. Well, there's one that's just gone in Crimea, in Russia. And what happened in this one was a lad. His name was Vlad something. I called him Vlad for
Let
sure.
me have a look.
I'm pulling it up now
Let me
myself.
Yeah.
Crimea school shooting. And he killed, I think it was 20 people. What he did was he went into his school. He was dressed in a white t-shirt which had the Russian equivalent of the word hate on it. White shirt, black jeans, and and I think he had a shotgun. People calling it a rifle, but it's quite clearly a shotgun from the pictures. He went in, he just stalked the halls, killed 20 people, and then blew his brains out in the library. He went into the library, killed 20 people, and then blew his brains out. Now, if you remember, if you go back to the Columbine, that's what they did.
Yeah.
He's gone in and basically committed Europe's Columbine.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to ask, is obviously
Okay.
America has a pandemic of these.
Just for confirmation, his name is Vladislav Rotskiev. Rotskiev? Nah, fuck it. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name. But yeah, continue.
So, is it true what people are saying, what Putin's saying, that it's a result of globalization?
I don't know.
Is it because we have all these school shootings going on? Maybe, as you said, is it because of the memes of school shootings that people are starting to become very desensitized?
Yeah, like, desensitization especially. Like when the London attacks happened and when the Manchester bombing happened, I was like, oh, okay, another terrorist attack. You know, we just eventually get desensitized to it.
Well, for me,
You
because
know.
of how close the Manchester Arena bombing was, that one filled me with anger. I mean, I just felt so angry and disgusted.
Yeah.
Maybe it was fear, maybe because of how close to home it was. I mean, that could have been Liverpool Echo. You know. And then boom, fucked. Alright, we've been asked. Because obviously I'm talking about globalisation of memes, I'll just try and wrap this topic up, as obviously... What the fuck is this?
They got the package back. I'm going in.
Obviously, sorry, I tried to sweat and it failed. Obviously, because I was talking about generalisation, what Vladimir Putin is saying, because of what's happened in America with all these school shootings, because of how the media portrays them.
Package in the open. Converge on that position.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why all this is happening. He believes it's due to some form of some sort of globalisation where people start to think it's okay. You know, you can just go shoot up your school, you can go do this, you can go do that. That was awful. But the next topic is, obviously I'm getting a response to this one, is what is our opinions on memes in general? So what do you think of memes? Good old creamy memes. I love them. I've got no issue. I've got zero issue with memes.
I've got no problem with memes. I got banned for making memes or posting memes, sorry. So, I'm pro meme.
I feel like if it's a meme that maybe not necessarily upsets you, but you know, angers you in some form of way, then that's your fault. It's a meme, it's a joke. I enjoy memes, I like memes. I feel like you just need to learn to accept them as a joke. They're meant to be offensive. You know, offensive memes and stuff like that. you can't then get upset and spit your dummy out because the meme's touched on a topic that you find sensitive, but when it's touching on topics that other people might find sensitive, you then laugh. I mean, memes are just stupid fun, and that's why I enjoy them. Don't know your thoughts on memes like Ben, but I love them.
Yeah, same here.
I can't really think of a reason not to like memes. I can't think of a reason why anyone shouldn't like memes. If you get offended, it is solely your fault.
Yeah.
Alright, can you see, maybe, I'll ask this instead of defending memes. Can you see maybe why people get upset and or offended by memes? Because maybe that's the question I should be asking. He's asking what's our opinion on memes in general. In general, memes are good. I like memes. I don't think anyone should ever try and stop memes. I think they should actually be encouraged.
Do you want me to be honest? Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah. Can you see the negative side of meme culture?
No. I mean, you're choosing to go into that side of the internet, the most retarded, repugnant, shitposter-esque side of the internet. You know, fucking memes, you know, a moth meme. Oh, I'm sorry if you don't like the moth meme. You know, some people say that's part of shit, I say it's funny. But yeah, I just don't see how some people get offended. But like over my Nazi Pepe meme, okay, that I posted, I got IP banned for that along with a few other things.
What would you say is too far for a meme?
Nothing. I believe
you'd
there
say
is no
nothing
such
is off limits. Zero things are off limits.
Yep.
A meme is a meme is a meme. Can't stop it.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. I respect that. So you don't think there is anything that can be too offensive? You think joke's a joke, end of day.
I mean, everything in someone's eyes can be. It's what the person deems as offensive. So if I were to have a picture of Hitler dabbing in Auschwitz, with a mega hat on, circa 2016, you know, and I had that, you know, that'd be deemed as offensive. But some people would just be fucking funny. You know, like, it would be funny for both sides. Like, for the meme community, it would just be, oh, that's funny. You know, for the left, well, for anyone who doesn't like him, it's like, oh yeah, that proves he's a Nazi. Etc. And all that, because of the people that make memes. It depends what you deem offensive. You know. Like, it really does. I mean, that's my thoughts on it. I don't know whether or not if you disagree with me.
Well, our personal Bobby on the beat. I like memes. Some go over my head, but people get upset and don't like certain memes, but it's a meme. One second, let me just check the actual stream to see if that's all that was said. Because it likes trying to make a dick out of me. No, yeah, he's just saying a meme's a meme.
Some memes are just creamier than others, you know?
We can't win this one. Let them take the data. We'll find another way.
I think we should have a moment of silence for Tom, who pulled at a party tonight. He seems to think we all care, and we all give a shit. So he's just wasted 30 seconds.
Probably his cousin or his sister.
Probably.
Sorry.
As he's just waited 30 seconds of my time. I'd waste 30 seconds of the stream's time. Thank you very much for listening. So, meme culture... There's not really... See, meme culture and... the school shooter one, there wasn't much to talk about like we could on video games where we could just roll.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Maybe we didn't think this through well enough. No, I'm joking. Right, next topic. What are your thoughts on the new... what's it called? Not the new hypothesis, the new fucking... the new evidence to show that... oh, of course, we're fucking Roger Rogers. To show that you can take animals' blood and test on that instead of actually having to test on the animal. Again, this is a little one. We had a little dabble in last night.
Yeah. Basically, blood doesn't compare to skin, fur, and it doesn't show you what kind of pathogens could be released either. You know, or what difference that chemical could make in any way, shape, or form. Oh yeah, it'll do that, but it's blood. It's not an actual physical thing that you can study and examine. You know, in terms of how it will behave. You know, what will go along. What's the fancy word for the brain? You know,
The
what
brain.
will happen to the brain itself, etc. When certain chemicals are introduced, they can't replicate that, whilst an animal can. And that's my belief on it.
What I feel like, because obviously I don't agree with animal testing, but I understand why they do it. Because yeah, you can maybe get a little bit of human blood, but the test results will always vary. Reason being, if you've eaten right, you've had water, and you've had a nice healthy brekkie, then yeah, you're going to have strong blood, you're going to have high amounts of white blood cells, and all's going to be good. But if they then do a couple of tests, they're the results they get, they're happy with those results, they administer it, and it's got some sort of deadly pathogen because maybe they didn't acquaint for... Oh. Oh, alright.
Nicotine or alcohol.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. So obviously if you have a smoke, your immune system dips dramatically. If you have a bit of booze, your alcohol blood levels, it affects your blood, it affects how much oxygen you're taking, how your brain works. So if they bring out a new type of medicine and go, oh yeah, it's well good for you, this, you take 27 tablets of the stuff, then all of a sudden, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I feel a bit funny, Mr. Stark. And he's like, oh, well, that's not good. It's because that, this rolled off my tongue last night. I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't seem to get it out today. Basically what I'm trying to say is there's loads of variables, so although I disagree with animal abuse, and I do actually enjoy the fact that, yeah, we could take samples of blood and use it that way, instead of having to bloody, you know, kill innocent animals that have done fuck all wrong. Because I hate animal abuse, I'll be honest with you, and if there was a way that we could test these things without having to use animals, I'd be all down for that, but at the end of the day, they're the most like humans. I mean, we need to use them. Well, yeah, but you can't really test bloody cancer vaccine on a banana because you can't physically give a banana cancer. You get what I mean? You need to give animals...
I was joking.
No, I know, but what I'm trying to say is, just to prove the point, you need to give animals that are obviously going to experience the same things we are. So obviously an animal can get cancer. An animal can get AIDS, you know, monkeys and stuff like that, and you can try and find a cure to AIDS on monkeys, but you don't really want to be putting blood, giving a blood sample AIDS, right, experimenting on this, and then trying to disintegrate it or get rid of said sample, and you've just created a new pathogen, it's airborne, and you create bird flu again. You don't really want to be doing that accidentally.
Yeah.
Now, we've just been asked a random question, and I feel like because we're just mumbling a bit on this one, it's the first time we're doing this podcast properly.
God.
What?
Oh, sorry. My rocket joy just T-posed. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're a rocket droid.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, we'll have to outline a couple of points we want to make next time, as we're just free-forming this. This is a free-form sort of debate, so if Ben's not really got anything to say on a topic, and I sort of wear down all my points within the first 40 seconds, then there's not really anything we can say. So we'll definitely work on that for the next podcast. Sorry that this may seem a bit clunky, that's because it is. No excuses to be made. But we've just been given a random question. Are you ready for this one, Ben? This is a good one. I think
Sure.
you might, as a privileged person, I shall call you, as a person of the upper class, I'd like to see your point of view on this. What's your opinion on the universal credit system, i.e., benefit system?
I believe it's going to fuck people up completely. It's not going to change anything. It takes weeks for some people to get money.
So are you saying it's a negative?
It's a negative thing, definitely.
So would you prefer just normal benefits to stay as they were,
Yeah.
or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're for it. You're for people that don't have this money being given the money.
Yeah, of course.
But you'd rather they actually get given the money than maybe this credit system not working as properly as it should.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you pull up a bit more information on the universal credit system for me then, and what it's going to entail?
Oh, that's. Oh, okay.
Or would you rather I do it? I'm currently running around as a super battle droid.
I'm on
Well,
it.
sorry, as a clanker.
Explosive nearing detonation.
Credit.
I'm on then, you slimes. Just a bit more information.
It replaces.
I know it's replacing
benefits.
benefits, yeah.
Yeah, like a housing benefit, child tax, income support, working tax credit, income-based job seekers allowance, income-related employment support allowance. But I don't as someone who's not really had to struggle with money, not flexing. Sorry if I might seem like I am, but I believe it won't. I believe it should just be standard benefits. You know.
You feel like they should stay as they are now. You feel like at the minute
Because
the benefit system's in a good place.
Yeah, a lot of my mates that I hang around with are working class. You know, and a few of them on benefits. You know, I don't just hang around with rich people because a lot of them are just pompous cunts who I fucking despise. Pure reason of they're just cunts.
Jamie says, to elaborate on his point, overly paid people on the universal credit system may be better off than people who have a working job / a full-time job.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? So, what do you mean by, if you could just clarify for me, what do you mean by overly paid people? People who are getting overpaid by the
getting way
universal
more
credit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if you need housing benefits, child benefits, and say income support? You're going to be better off than someone that's got a full-time job but just needs that little bit of help putting food on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that's true. Yeah.
I think if that's what you're trying to say, then I do disagree with that. I feel like if you've got your full-time job, you're grinding every day, and yet you're still not making as much money as someone who's got 3 or 4 UCs. I'm going to start calling them UCs instead of universal credits. It's quite lengthy. So someone that's got 3 or 4 UCs, well, has applied for 3 different types of UC, and they're getting paid, say, 10, 15 grand a year. That's not good. That's not on. Because this person that's gone out, got in the full-time job, maybe gone to uni, maybe got a really good full-time job, but someone who's on a UC is still getting paid more than them, then at what point do you stop? At what point do you just not, give these hand-me-outs? At what point do we say enough is enough? At what point would you say is enough of giving people money? Now you see, as someone whose family has struggled monetarily in the past, I feel like, yes, benefits is a very important thing that does stop people from becoming homeless in the times of need, but I also feel like sometimes enough is enough. What's to stop people cheating the system? They'll always find a way. People always do find a way to cheat the system, especially these kinds of systems, where it comes to being given money. Are you going to help me with this bloody big guy?
I've just found the bomb actually.
Me too. Except you're welcome.
Bollocks.
Same. What do you think? Because obviously we've kind of trained our knowledge on universal credits. So has it been confirmed that universal credits, Ben? Because obviously you could just quickly search it. Has it been confirmed that universal credits are replacing benefits, or is it still something that's being proposed?
It's something that's being proposed.
It's only being
from
proposed.
what I can see, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think people will be chosen to be put on a universal credit. I believe. So
So,
like, you'll have to
sort of
go
like a
through-
beta, an open beta.
Yeah. Well, no. As in, like, you'll be questioned about why you have benefits, etc. Why you can't do this, or why you need this. And they'll evaluate you, and based on that, they'll say whether or not you
My aim.
have
But his aim was worse, so... And his spatial awareness was wank. Yeah, if it's only being proposed, then... Should it go through? I can't say it shouldn't. I don't have the authority to say it shouldn't, but... If it's making things more difficult...
Yeah.
And it's actually making...
Is there anything else?
It's actually making less sense to
Yeah.
go on this. Now, yeah, I understand the benefit system is clunky and that there are too many types of benefits and you can end up cheating the system. And that is the reason why, obviously, they're saying, well, we need to change it. I fully support that. I mean, if people are cheating your system that you're putting in place, you can't have the government being mugged off, especially out of money. Because how do you make it end at that point? If the people you're trying to help with money are mugging you off for money, then only select people will be able to get money, and then you can't help everyone, or maybe they just take that privilege away. Because in third world countries, you don't get this kind of help. This is something that is luckily UK only, you know.
Yeah.
So, at what point do we draw the line and say, oh, come on, you're being a bit of a dick there?
I mean, well, it depends. Like, we don't really have a say, the English people, about what, because like there are different variations of what you consider being a dick.
Well, you're abusing it and you don't actually need the money. You're just taking the money because you want to go buy drugs for it or something, or you can't be arsed going out and getting a job, so you know that the government will pay you to sit on your ass all day. No, I mean, obviously some people can't get a job, and I'm not trying to discredit those that do need UC. But sometimes the people that don't need it take it away from the people that do need it. And unfortunately, that's just the kind of world we live in, where people don't care if they do that. Yeah.
Well, I've got nothing else to say.
Okay, if you've got no more to say, we'll change topic. Do you think that we, as a public, people who don't actually know these people, should be allowed to know as much as we do about celebrities? You know, we like their talent, so we make them sing more for us. Yes, we do pay them, but do we have a right as a people to know every in and out of their life?
No, we don't.
You
have
don't
the right
believe
there.
so? Okay, so that being said, how do you feel about the whole? Obviously, a couple of the most recent ones are obviously Ariana Grande's ex-boyfriend, Mac Miller, obviously, and tragically committing suicide. Obviously, that's tragic, and it's obviously caused her a lot of stress, and she has been putting on Twitter about that it has the max number of fucking super drugs in play. It has been causing her stress. It's obviously broken her engagement. People are talking about the fact that maybe it was Pete Davidson that drove Mac Miller to suicide by talking about, well, what he was doing was he was sending pictures of him and Ariana having sex and stuff to Mac Miller, so he'd stop messaging Ariana. But obviously they'd been engaged. She still loved him, and the only reason they broke up is because she couldn't cope with him doing the drugs anymore. She felt like she was babying him instead of loving him at that point. Like, you know, she was being his mum. And obviously she said she should feel loved and not like she's having to care for the person. Do you think at any point we as a people, we as a public, we as civilians, and obviously not them, have the right to know this much information? Yes, sometimes it does help if, like, obviously a sexual assault case comes out or something majorly tragic, like a death has happened.
No,
but
I don't think we do. We should let them have their own. Like, imagine you got famous for some random reason, and you have people nosy in your business.
oh, I know for a
would
fact I
you
wouldn't like it. I know for a fact I wouldn't like it.
Then why should these people put up with it then?
I'm not saying they should, I'm just trying to see what you think. No, I know you're saying it's devil's advocate.
Yeah.
And I fully agree with you playing the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I just think at times the celebrities themselves do take it a bit too far. I understand with money can come drug abuse. I can fully understand that.
Yeah.
Like, you've got all this spare income. What else are you supposed to do with it? Like, you know, once you've bought all your fancy cars or your fancy clothes, then obviously, where else do you go? Now, sort of, if you are abusing this amount of heavy drugs, cocaine, ecstasy, you know, heavy drugs, hard drugs, drugs that do fuck people up, like drugs that can permanently fuck people up.
Oh my god, he just T-posed again, sorry.
Like, you know, then at that point it's sort of your own fault. I mean, you've got all this money. At what point do you need to sit there and do that? You know, you've got all this money, you've got a family, you can do whatever you want in the world, but you're choosing to do heroin, stuff like that. You know, putting yourself into rehab because you're addicted to heroin. Obviously, I'm referencing here Demi Lovato. Now, I understand sometimes they do get famous too young and they can't cope with the fame. They've not asked for it. They've just done what they know, done what they love, and it's obviously paid off for them. Oh, I came third.
Look at me, MVP.
Why does he look like he's asking you if you want a knuckle sarnie?
He's an utter unit.
Boy, bruv, you hungry?
Oh.
Yeah. Do you believe in natural selection, Ben? It's Darwin theory, that, isn't it? Natural selection.
Yeah.
Do you believe in it? Because you see,
Well, how about if you go first?
Alright.
How about if you...
to sort of start the ball rolling, I do believe in natural selection. Like, let's jump back a year. If you're eating Tide Pods or drinking bleach, then you deserve you deserve what's coming to you. I'm sorry, not trying to be a dick, but if you're doing that, then your liver deserves to get trashed on.
Or like, if you're literally a dim cunt and start playing in train tracks, you know.
And stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Chicken, like, I'm sorry, just asking for it at that point.
Yeah, I believe in natural selection, yes, I do believe in natural selection personally. I believe that if you're doing something that you know can lead to death, or you're doing something that you've been told not to.
I don't think we're not even having a conversation about this, because I also believe in it. I'm sorry, if you're the dimmest cunt, and you're like fucking Tide Pods, right, and fucking, I don't know, snorting crystallised bleach. You know,
or if you're
or
bloody
washing
snorting bath salts.
Daz.
Or putting
if
a
you're
vodka-soaked
Daz.
tampon up your ass to get drunk. I mean, you just fucking... I don't know if that was a craze where you were, but we had that here. Yeah, up north.
Yeah, up north, yeah. Fucking
Yeah,
what?
fucking weird place.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't think
that
we
missed.
really have a conversation about this, because I fully
Well, no, I
believe
do believe that. All right, I'll play devil's advocate. So what you're saying is, I deserve to die because I'm taking heroin recreationally.
you know the leading cause. You know that it's killing you. You know that it's a bad thing, and if you're continuing to take it, you've chosen not to get help. And it's an addiction. You can try and change it. You can attempt to, of course. But at the end of the day, yes, that is natural selection. Yeah?
Okay, how about playing Kirby?
Kirby.
Do you know what
Okay,
Kirby is?
Yeah, explain to me, because we also have Kirby.
Kirby here is you got a football and you're playing footy in the middle of the road. You're just trying to hit the curb. You're trying to kick it and make it bounce off the curb.
Yeah, we have that. I wouldn't say that is natural selection, of course.
But you're playing with a football in the middle of the road, and obviously the ball can go AWOL, go awry.
I mean, but here's the thing. If you're doing it on a road, right, of course, the car or the driver may see you first. There's a highly likely possibility, because if you're playing it, you're clearly in like a residential area, not on the fucking A27, Like, oh, let's play Kirby on the A27, fucking gets hit by like a Eddie Stobart truck. I remember, I love that show. Eddie Stobart, good show. But yeah, I mean, there are elements to natural selection for everything. Well, not for everything, but everything, even with some amount of danger, is natural selection. And that can't be helped.
May have been a bit before your time, but I reckon you'll have seen it happen in school. It might have not been something you participated in, but we had a thing called neck nominations. Now, I don't know if where you had neck nominations, but neck nomination was you had to literally make a concoction out of spirits and like people. So a neck nomination was you had to drink the most vile thing you could think of. So people were downing 2 bottles of gin straight, just downing it, gulping it like it was water. You had people putting like washing up liquid and vodka in a cup. Would you say if I were to do a neck nomination out of like peer pressure or something, that's natural selection? So neck nomination, because it comes down to peer pressure, obviously it comes to the psychology of it.
Yeah.
So again, I am trying to play devil's advocate, but it is very hard for me to actually argue against natural selection. If you're going to be a dim as fuck little cuntard,
Bastard.
then I think,
And fucking...
yeah, I think you deserve.
There is actually a point that I wouldn't mind bringing up, even with everyone else watching, about whether or not people who are, how do I put this? Disabled, like cerebral palsy. I'm talking like full to the next level. Shit.
All right, where are you going with
Should
this?
Be put to sleep. If they are born, not of course when they're later on, because we're already fucking, they already go through enough shit. But my justification for this is when my father was close to the end of his life, he couldn't get out of bed, he couldn't go to the toilet by himself. It was horrible, and that was only for a couple of years before he died.
Okay,
And that is one of the most
Go on, continue. It's one of the most painful things to watch.
Yeah, watch someone go through that, and I went to school with a, I'm just gonna retarded girl, okay, because I can't censor myself that long. And basically, it was hard for her to do a lot of things, and it saddened me.
Well, you see, if you're saying that, then what? So you're saying if someone's supposed to have Down syndromes in the womb, that instead of letting them come into this world, they should be, put to sleep, as it were,
Yes.
aborted. Well, that means that I should have been aborted. I was supposed to have Down syndrome in the womb.
Yeah.
So you see,
I'm
that's where
talking
I
about
can't
this-
agree with you.
Yeah.
You
I
see,
understand-
because
no,
Down
but
syndrome
but
people can
it's-
have very happy lives. Like, you've got MMA fighters who are Down syndrome. You've got
Yeah.
firefighters
No, I'm
and
talking about.
scaffolders.
No, I was talking about people with cerebral palsy. Not Down syndrome people can still.
There's a breakdown to the cerebral
Some-
palsy.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about people who are fully crippled. I like the girl that I went to
Yeah,
school with.
that's what I'm on about.
Really? Fucking
Yeah.
hell. Yeah. I mean, it comes down to where your morals are at as well. You know, and the experiences that you've had with it.
Well, you see, I can't agree with that. I feel like everyone deserves a right to live. If it's their choice to seek euthanasia over the age of 18, then I feel like that option should be there. But you should have to go see a psychologist. Same with wanting an abortion.
Yeah.
You should have to go see 2 doctors, well, 2 psychologists, and they should say whether
Have
it
a
is,
meaningful reason.
yeah, whether it is
Yeah.
truly what you want. And if it is truly what you want, then they can
Yeah,
say,
I,
alright,
um,
go on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday, I was in a party with a guy, and basically what I said was, if the child is a product of rape, then there should be a choice whether or not you can abort it or keep it. You know, as with, but when it comes to a child being born out of pure consensual sex, they shouldn't be aborted. You know.
Well, yeah, but what if the person...
It's
what
going
if
for
they were wearing a
education.
condom? What if
Yeah,
the female was on the pill
and it
and
didn't
the
work.
condom split?
Exactly.
Because obviously you've got that. That's not her
Yeah.
fault. She's...
Yeah.
The sex was consensual, yes, but the child wasn't purposeful. Now, obviously, it comes down to the person. Then it's the person's choice. It's their body. I do agree with the whole.
But yeah, the person that put that forward to me about abortion said that apparently I supported rape. Apparently, for literally saying what I've just said to you. And I want to ask you, is there anything in there that made it
Well,
seem like I
no.
support rape?
What you're saying is, if someone's obviously raped and the child is a product of that, well, the obviously pregnancy is a
Yeah.
product of rape, then yeah, I personally agree. The person should 100% have the choice. But I feel like all round the person should have the choice. I feel like, you know, abortion is, it's
Yeah.
not an easy decision
But
to
I'm-
make.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the minute,
But
there's
just-
a trend of women going around saying that get pregnant and abort the baby to get bigger tits, and there's a woman going around genuinely saying this is what she does, and loads of people saying, oh, I thought I was the only one that did that. So, I mean, you know, you do have people who are fucked like that, who will
Yeah,
purposely
I
get
mean-
pregnant and then obviously kill the child.
Especially like when it comes to like if you were to say I don't know well, I can't remember where I was going with that. Fuck, I had a good point as well. Ooh.
Hey Ben, if you can grab the documents and bring them here, we've got base on lockdown.
Oh, I'm dead.
Aye.
Actually, hang on.
Ah.
But yeah, I mean, it really does depend. I personally, like, I'm no pro-life. I'm not some like fucking Bible basher. I'm actually atheist, and I went to a Christian primary school. You know, and I hate religion. Well, I don't hate it, but to some extent, you've got to think to yourself, how the fuck does that make sense? You know, I'm sorry that I've gone on a tangent about religion here. But, yeah, I'm just to clarify that I'm not some fucking pro-lifer. People should have a choice, but under circumstances, that should be denied if it's literally just, oh, I want to get this job, or, you know, anything like that. It's just, oh, I don't want the kid, or I want to get it, or I want to have the abortion because I just want bigger tits. I don't actually want to have the kid.
Well, to be fair, they do have to, for an abortion, they do have to go see 2 doctors.
Pick up the package.
And they've got to have a meaningful reason, or... To be fair, I just feel that it is the woman's choice at the end of the day. I feel like
Protect your brother.
she should be able to say yes, I want the abortion, or no, I don't.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not an easy decision for someone to make. Someone who obviously has either conceived the child by accident or by rape, it's still not something that they can just go, yeah. Okay.
Moving with the package now.
I just want to abort the child. It is... They do start having the maternal instincts as soon as they're pregnant. They get attached to the fetus throughout the entire 9 months, so it's not as if they don't actually want the child. Even women who've been raped have chosen to keep the children before. So it just comes down to that. I don't feel like abortion should be forced. I feel like it should be a choice. I also feel like euthanasia should be a choice. But unfortunately, the quality of life, we don't have that choice as a people.
Is there anything else?
No. Nothing yet.
Anything else from anyone in the...
Nope, so far, I think everyone's quiet. I think everyone's just watching at the minute. We've got 4 people watching. We have had consistent viewership throughout the entire thing. If anyone, we're now going to do a little segment of fan asks. So if you feel like you've got a good topic, feel free to just jump in. Well, no, I mean just topics that they've chosen. Obviously, they've asked questions because of what we've brought up.
Well, yeah, but this is a topic completely chosen by you.
Yeah, a complete topic, just put it in, and the first one or first few will go through just before we end the first rendition of Two Guys, Two Mics.
Do you want to do a 2 guys stream after this of just playing the video games?
No one's commenting, everyone's gone shy all of a sudden.
I'm very disappointed in all of you. This is going to be a paid channel from now on. You got to pay 99p an hour to be able to watch us talk about meaningless shit.
And sometimes not even things that we believe in. See, obviously sometimes, I know it's a bit late now at the end of the podcast to put this, but as the description says, not all of what we say is what we believe. Sometimes it does come down to... You've seen today... Oh, that's a good one. We do have one, but as you've seen today, because it's free flow, it does get very you know. We're stuttering, we're actually trying to think of something. So I think what we're going to do for the next podcast is get a little bit of information on all the topics. Well, a little more information. Obviously, we do have like little notes and stuff, but I think we'll get a lot more. And we'll try and pick topics that we don't necessarily agree on to make it a more entertaining watch for you. Now, a good topic just been brought up by Illusionists. What is our opinion on the education system?
We have, well, me and Liam are both from different types of education, you could call it. So we can all from the same type of education.
Well, you're from, obviously, private school. And I come from public school. It's as simple as that. I'm from, obviously, up north, Ben's from down south, so both our types of education would have been completely different. I mean, I'll have different teachers who teach in different ways, I'll have different teachers who teach in different ways. I think, obviously, I don't know if Ben can agree, Ben might say his education was amazing, he's got nothing below a C. C was his lowest grade, and you know, unfortunately, I can't say that. I've not got the same, you know, privilege of saying, oh yeah, my lowest grade was that. My lowest grade, I believe, was an E. I feel like public education lacks. It lacks majorly. I feel like it fails the children, because recently we've had the lowest math scores and the lowest English GCSE scores for like what, the past 50, 60 years, something along those lines. Now, can I just say, that's not the kids failing that's the teachers failing to teach it. If the teachers could teach it properly, then everyone should pass it. If it was done properly, everyone should be able to pass.
Yeah, I mean, there is one thing that I believe stands out in education, both sides, is homework. In my opinion, if you can intrigue someone, I was very intrigued by history, you know, and I never did any of the homework, and I'm very, very good at it because I got interested in the subject itself, you know. I did no homework, I didn't do revision, well, I did do revision, I revised and studied in my own time when I felt like it, because I believe work is for school, but if I enjoy a subject, you know, I should be able to do it, you know, in my own free time, doing what I want. Like, I specialise in World War II and the Cold War, you know, and a bit of medical history. You know.
Thoughts on
But,
whether
like,
it's succeeding and it's working as it should, or does it need to improve? And if it needs to
education as a
improve,
whole.
how?
I would say education in general needs to improve by teachers.
I feel like teachers need to be paid more.
Yeah, they need to have a lot more motivation, you know.
Because
Like,
I had teachers that came in and would literally not would refuse to teach us. They'd say, "No, I don't get paid enough." And when we had supply teachers, which was quite often because teachers just wouldn't show up for work, there was like the supply teacher didn't know what they were teaching. They would actually turn around and say, "Well, I don't know what I'm doing." You should have supply teachers who are actually, you know, able to teach that class.
Yeah. I mean, like, oh, yeah, it's a big problem. Oh, bored. Like, it's it's quite a broad subject. You know, but when you have pupils that will refuse to learn or do anything, you know, like, let's just say a fucking big man, fucking David from, like, not Nottingham, Cheshire, right, is taking the piss, and he's not doing any work, then do you honestly think the teacher wants to teach that person? When they have little shy Timmy Tom over there, who, I don't know, is doing the work extremely well, listening and doesn't really interrupt or make a big scene, you know? Like, there's a fine line between what a teacher wants to see and what, like, they all have different thresholds, you know?
I feel like even, you know,
Motivation.
sets fail.
Oh, I got put. Don't even talk to me. Right.
I
basically,
mean more like, instead of going on sets as a whole, we'll properly touch upon this topic tomorrow when
Yeah.
we can delve time into it and we'll put it as a proper debate topic. I feel like it fails because it's unfair on some of the kids who are sat there wanting to learn, but one kid's just not getting it.
Or like a group of them, yeah.
And it goes one of two ways. This, the teacher will either completely focus on that kid, and you can't move any further than that topic for an extra lesson, an extra 2, 3, 4 lessons until that kid gets it. But you already know it, so you've already lost interest in that subject. Or that kid will just get left behind and never actually learn it. Now I know what I've said there is me contradicting myself. I'm saying the kid should be taught it, but maybe if he was put in the correct set, or with the correct people who learn at the correct speed,
like,
then it wouldn't have been an issue anyway.
I mean, with me, when I got put in my history set, I was in one of the lowest sets. I mean, we were doing about World War II. I'm in high school. And I knew everything, you know? And the teacher sometimes didn't know some of the stuff that I knew, you know?
Also, cheers for getting kicked from the game.
What? Oh, fuck. I apologise. I've just been staring at my fucking ceiling. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, I mean, there's like sets fail a lot of children simply because, like, I'm not an academic. I'm not good at tests, especially math tests. You know. But it depends what kind of child you have. Like, let's just say if you've got a boy or a girl and they've been brought up in a highly academic family and they're very, very good at it, but they can't learn practically, and they're put in a group of people who can only learn practically, that person isn't going to learn anything. You know?
I agree.
Like,
yeah.
When I was put in that set, I was with people who learn practically. I'm a bit in the middle. And we would do stuff like, I don't know, put X amount of cubes in that and share it out. And I was like, why can't you just fucking tell it to me? Why can't you write it on the whiteboard and explain it to me methodically? You know, and say, this is what that does. Like, I wasn't taught how to do the proper grid method, so I use Chinese grid method now. For the simple reason, it's easier. You'd have to go above the 9 times table. That should be mandatory. Fuck the regular grid method. Chinese grid method is way better. You'd have to go above your 9 times table, it's easy. You know? Like,
well, you should know your 10 times table anyway. So.
Oh, yeah, 10 times, yeah, you definitely need to know that. But, for multiplication, the Chinese grid method is fucking amazing.
Keep those beta charges secure.
I feel like I agree and disagree. The education system fails those who struggle. Obviously, private education, it's a lot easier for a lot more people to do well because the teachers have to teach you well or they don't get paid. Like, I'm getting my education for free. Whereas if, like, you get your education failed, your parents go, well, I've paid you this much money, how the fuck has he failed? You're clearly not trying hard enough. Whereas I feel like teachers in public schools just couldn't give less of a toss.
Yeah, and also, like, it comes down to culture as well.
What, where you're from, what kind... Yeah, there are loads of things. I feel like private education is, in the whole, better, because obviously you are getting a higher class of education, because that's where the higher class of teachers go.
Well, actually, not really. Like, you'll have a high, like, class of education, but they're used to teaching people who are extremely smart, you know, and have already learned all of these things. Like, I still don't know my 8s and 7 times tables. I am dim as shit, and I fully admit that, you know. But I was left behind in my maths, simply for the reason I just didn't fucking know. I simply just don't get maths, you know. And it's been like that, and I can do maths, multiplication, easy, addition, subtraction, but when it came down to stuff like algebra, you know, etc., I was lost. Simply just.
I feel like in public school, if you struggle with anything, you do just genuinely get left behind.
Yeah.
They can't wait for you. They can't sit there and go, oh yeah, they've got a class of 30 plus kids to teach.
Yeah. I mean, so do we. I used to.
Yeah, but all your kids are being told by their parents, you can't fucking fail this education because I'm putting this much money on you.
Yeah, well, that's what my mum told me, and fair point. Continue.
Exactly. You get what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like the education system is varied. I can't say it's good because it fails a lot of kids, and obviously at the minute we're in our dumbest generation yet. This new generation is considered the thickest.
I mean, there was a I sent Liam a screenshot of a news article. It was private schools have lowest dip in GCSEs or whatever. I was like, that's my fault. You know?
Yeah, like, I feel like it just depends, really. We're in the midst of our dumbest generation, and they've just made all tests harder, which is unfortunately going to make the dumbest generation seem like a bunch of spastics.
We already are a bunch of spastics, Liam.
Well, speak for yourself, cunt.
Liam loves me, really.
You know, you can't really sit there and defend the education system when
and
it
the
doesn't
thing
help
is,
those that really.
like when they bring all these kids on TV and they talk about education, these are very, very smart kids. These aren't dumb kids. You know, these aren't like middle ground. These are very, very smart kids that know what to say. You know.
I also feel like what you're taught isn't memorable. Like, I can remember
Exactly,
almost
yeah.
100% of what I've been taught practically, but 95% of what I learned in maths, English, science and shit's gone, apart from the parts I was interested in. I feel like
Yeah, same here.
the education
Like, I
system also
completely,
bores.
yeah. But it's honestly like that. Like, as I'll say again, I watched a lot of documentaries and read books for World War II, you know, and I started to lose interest at one point due to the fact that we were doing shit that I learned 3 months before, you know? And it really, like, setting, go back to it, you know, it fails people. Fails. A lot.
I have no idea what you were trying to say.
Neither do I, actually. I kind of lost it halfway and...
Yeah, you sounded like you were going to make a very convincing point, and then the point kind of...
I'm fucking roasting right now. My radiator's right next to me, and my PS4's like trying to take off and leave the atmosphere.
Oh, it's gorgeously
I'm-
cool up here.
Shut the fuck up.
I think it's actually like pissing it down outside. I couldn't tell you for definite.
Out of the flashback.
Well, as we've been going for an hour and 46 minutes, as we've answered quite a lot of topics, and unfortunately, we do apologise that this is not as good as we want it to be. We will remember this, and we will definitely up the standard for the next episode. As again, we're still trying to figure out the kinks of this whole podcast thing. We just wanted to get one out there, so there is a video on the channel that people can watch. We will be trying to get some guest YouTubers in, as I know a few people, and obviously I don't know if Ben knows a few people, but we'll try and get them in, get their opinions. We'll try and get fans in, so if you, like, obviously we've had quite a lot of people who've been interested in what we're saying and have been asking questions and debating back with us. We'll definitely try and get you in here with us, having a conversation with us, and, you know, arguing your toss, you know, giving us your 2 pence. Say, oh, well, this is what I feel about it, and maybe you've got a completely different opinion to me and Ben. Maybe you believe that the education system is completely working. Maybe you really believe that reverse racism is or isn't a thing. Because we are going to be touching on topics like that. You need to remember, there is no topic too big, no topic too small, and 100% no topic too controversial for us. If you get offended by what we've got to say, then unfortunately that's your issue.
I think
Because you need
just
to
get skills
remember,
if you get offended by what you say.
yeah, you need to remember that not all opinions are our own. We love to play devil's advocate when it comes to arguments against each other. And maybe not even
And
devil's
also
advocate, we might script it beforehand that one of us is going to take one side or one of us is going to take the other. Well, that was a shit play. One of us could take one side and one of us take the other.
The other thing is that you got to remember, especially about me, is I love to piss people off. I find it funny. So if you do get offended by something like I said, you kind of just know that it was in jest, and you're being a bit of a bitch. That's all I've got to say, to be honest.
So this has been episode 1 of the Two Guys, Two Mics podcast. I've been Liam.
I've been Ben.
That definitely didn't sound awkward. We'll try and take that one from the top. So this has been episode 1 of the Two Guys, Two Mics podcast. I've been Liam.
I've been Ben.
And we'll see you in episode 2.
Au revoir.